I hate change. That's why I'm wearing the same outfit that I wore last week.
I get it. It's funny because he cut his hair. He had long hair, but now it's short.
All right, good enough.
That's hilarious.
Change is a big part of life, though. As if nothing ever changes, no one can ever truly grow, except for, of course, Clifford the big red dog, because he's a big red dog. It's in the name. So do video games change? Yes, of course they do. Otherwise, I wouldn't have made this video. So today, let's talk about change in video games. In this video, I don't want to talk about how video games have changed over the years because that would be so boring. I instead want to talk about how video games change over the course of a playthrough, or in the case of a multiplayer game, over the game's life cycle. And I'm gonna start with this one. Good video game worlds tend to morph a bit over the length of a game, often depending on what the player has unlocked or how far they have progressed within the video game itself. As you progress through the world of Bloodborne, you will be gifted a consumable called Insight. And let me give you a little insight on Insight. It makes the game terrifying. As the more insight you have, the more terrible monsters come into view. Like this lovely church, which turns into a lovely church with a gigantic Lovecraftian monster hanging from its walls, watching your every move. But most of the time when a video game world changes, it's for the better and meant to show you that you are progressing through the game. In The Pathless and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, conquering the boss at the heart of the region drastically changes the region itself. As the clouds begin to part and life emerges from the woodwork, the world opens up to the player and becomes a lot more traversable. Many other open world games open up or close down dependent on in-game events. Sometimes this can be entirely affected by the player, like it is in Dishonored or Dying Light 2. As the world reacts to the decisions of the player. Go too far in one direction and the world might fall to ruin and become less traversable and less engaging for the player. But why change alone when changing with friends is so much better? That sounds so weird. A lot of online games evolve both over long stretches of time, but also over in-game time. Battlefield being the most notable for the evolving game space, with a feature called Levolution, where weather and buildings dynamically change over the course of a battle based on gameplay and randomness. But these often feel a bit gimmicky, if not outright just annoying. The changes we all like to see are multiplayer map changes, where game maps evolve and shift based on both improving gameplay and also just telling a story. Can we get the counter, please? Fortnite being my favorite of which? As its dynamic map squeezes in references to nerd culture, re-adds old parts of the map, and tells a unique story through its landscape. But video game change also takes place in the simple things from all sorts of games. Christmas lights are hung to match the season, maps are added to reinvigorate the player base, and bugs are fixed to create an even playing space. Because of all this, changes become expected rather than just given. People clamor every day for Elden Ring DLC. Cute, simple games like Toem get random content drops, and post-launch patch fixes become a must. We have started to become so spoiled by this change, and we are beginning to take all of the hard work it requires for granted. So the next time you get an update in your notifications bar, be sure to think of the dev who worked their butt off to get that thing pushed. And don't think of Clifford the big red dog, because he's just big and red. They just made him big and red and it looks stupid. They just CGI'd him the color red. They just used Lumetri color to make him go from brown to red. It looks ridiculous. It looks so stupid.